and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm Priscilla. I'm the owner of A Life Full of Simplicity. Today I'll be doing a VR to Antonia's Bliss for the tarot tag 7 Decks for Heavenly Virtues. Now, from what I understand, how this came about is this particular YouTuber watched and did the tag that Sylvain's Deadly Sins created, which was 7 decks for deadly sins. And they decided to create a follow-up tag for the heavenly virtues. So I'm going to start with the first prompt, which is Prudence, your most practical all-purpose deck. Now, for me, that would be the Lightseers Tarot. This is by Chris Ann, published by Hay House. This is my literally all-purpose deck. I use this for a lot of different things, and I use it also for others. I love using this deck for other people. I find that it's a great reader. Definitely all-purpose. It's RWS inspired, so it definitely reads really well. Easy to use, in my opinion. Great for beginners. So definitely a deck that I would consider my all-purpose and like an all-rounder kind of deck. Because the imagery is really... You can use this right out of the box, I think, if you are already familiar with RWS and reading tarot. I find the imagery is also easy to read intuitively, and the message arc is absolutely fantastic with this particular deck. So I definitely love reading with this deck for others and for myself. Definitely an all-purpose. I love this 8 of Swords. So yeah, the imagery is just amazing. I love it. So yes, this is my deck for Prudence, which is an all-purpose deck. Then the next prompt is Justice, a deck you use to make decisions. Now, I don't really use one particular deck to make decisions, but I guess if I had to choose one, it would be the Tarot of Mystical Moments. It's the one I use the most for myself. This is by Katrine Wells Stein. This is US Games publication. I absolutely love this deck so much. The readings I get from it are very clear. I never have any issues understanding, very to the point, very clear readings. So it's definitely a perfect reader for decision making, because what I get from it is I'm always able to know what the next steps will be for myself. So that's a particular reason why I do love this deck, for many reasons, for many different types of readings, but decisions also. This Devil card is so weird, and I love it. So weird. And I also really love this deck because it has both feminine and masculine vibes in it, with the Emperor card. This is supposed to be the feminine one, and then the kings. So there's 2 kings, a female king. This is the female king, a female king and a male king, and I just consider them feminine and masculine energies. I love this Tower card. This is like one of my favorite Tower cards ever. Ace of Wands. I definitely find this to be an easier reader as well for myself. The imagery is definitely weird sometimes, but I absolutely love it. So yes, definitely one that provides the readings that I need, the types of reading that I need to know where I should go from here if I have like a particular decision that needs to be made. Now, the next prompt is Fortitude, a deck that doesn't pull punches. Now, from my understanding of this particular prompt, I understood this to be a deck that's honest and doesn't really beat around the bush. It just is straight to the point, is direct, and it's honest. No matter if it's going to be harsh or not. I actually prefer decks like that, to be honest. I'm not really the type of person that I do love fluffy decks, but I love, if it for particular subjects, I do love a deck that's going to be just give me the answer and be brutally honest, to be honest with you. And I chose for this prompt the Wild Unknown Tarot. This is by Kim Krans and is published by Harper One. And I absolutely love this deck so much. This was my first tarot deck. And it definitely has that honest feel. Definitely is definitely brutally honest, to be honest with you. I don't ever feel like I'm going to be messed around with this particular deck. It'll give it to me as it is, which I definitely love. And it's one of the reasons why I use this deck specifically for shadow work, because when it comes to your shadow, I feel like you need that type of energy sometimes to just tell you how it is. That way you're not messing around and not beating around the bush, and you're actually focusing on what need to be met when it comes to your shadow, or what you're working towards in terms of your shadow. So I definitely love that for that purpose, and I don't feel like this deck will ever beat around the bush. It'll just be direct and straight to the point, which I love. I love this Death card. Imagery is actually so beautiful. I love it. And the pops of color just make it even more great. So the next prompt is Temperance, a deck pairing you love. Now, this one was really hard for me to decide because I have so many pairings that I absolutely love together. So I just went with the most recent one that I had been using, which is the Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Cassidy, or Paulina Faye, and the When My Soul Whispered Oracle by Melissa Salvaggio, artwork by Jess O'Connor. These are both US publication decks. And I actually love this pairing together. I feel like it really works well together, which is why I use them, why I used them together in particular. Because they just work really well together, is my opinion. Like, the colors just go really well together and flow really nicely. So I was really happy with this pairing, and the readings were absolutely fantastic. I used it for the entire month for my daily polls, and I just got some fantastic daily readings from it. So yeah, I just really enjoy that. The colors go really well together, and that white space really helps because these particular decks are very busy, right? That's the art style that they are, which I don't mind whatsoever. But I feel like the Oracle can't be as busy when pairing, so I thought this would be perfect together because it's more white space in that regard. So yes, I definitely love this pairing together. I think this deck would go well with a lot of different decks, but I love this because it definitely grounds this particular deck more, because this one is not as busy as these. So yeah. So the next prompt we have is Faith, a deck for spiritual guidance. Now, typically I use 2 different decks for different purposes, but I went with this one in particular. Come on. There we go. I find the guidebook to be very well written in terms of more of a spiritual sense. So this is the Naked Heart Tarot. This is by Jillian C. Wilde. This is independently published by her, so this is an indie deck. And I do love this deck very much. It has a lot of animal energy in it. And the court cards have been renamed. And I just love it. It gives great spiritual readings, I have to say. I think the focus and the energy that I get from it is very gentle and very empowering. And I love using the guidebook with this particular deck because it has some extra messages from the particular character, animal, or whatever is on the card. So I enjoy reading those for like added messages to my readings. And I really love the artwork. This is the extra card in the deck. I do have an unboxing of this on my channel, so you can definitely check that out. I'll leave it linked below. So yeah, I really feel like some of the messages that I get from this are like this one. So it's about choice, but it's also not about not having your head in the clouds as well. So I definitely love that meaning. Different take on the imagery compared to RWS. And the guidebook, I absolutely love it. See, it gives you the message here, and then it talks about like the familiar whispers, and it gives you like an affirmation. I love the affirmation from this. You also have some keywords in the book, and I feel like it talks more about your like spiritual journey and things like that, which is why I use it for spiritual purposes and why I included it in this particular part of the tag. So next we have Hope, which is a deck for dark times, or a hug deck. Now I have a few of these, but I decided to go with the Tarot of Curious Creatures. This is by Chris Ann, and it is published by Hay House. And I went with this because this deck is absolutely hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. I find it so funny. It's like an anthropomorphic deck. And I just love the characters and the faces and just everything that's going on in the cards just makes me laugh, and just, I love it. The readings are fantastic with this. I definitely feel like in a moment where you need a little bit of happiness and you need that hug, this is a great deck to pull out, in my opinion, because you can definitely get a good laugh out of what's going on in the card. And it's the reason why I chose it for this particular He's so funny looking. I love it. For this particular prompt. Pretty sure these are hyenas. I can't. Yeah, I love it. It's such a good deck. This Three of Swords, though, I can't. Oh, it's so funny. And this is why it's my hope deck. And then the last prompt is charity. So a deck you would give to someone. So I consider this as like a present or like a gift, like gifting someone a deck. I chose the good old Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is the only version I have. I would do the Centennial instead, but I don't have the Centennial. And I think the reason why I chose this is it's good to have like an original staple in your John Travolta in your particular collection, or to start out with. This is like the best deck to start with, to look at the symbolism and the original imagery and original symbolism and things like that for RWS. Is best to start with an original deck. So that's why I would give this particular deck to someone else, for that reason. The Sun card with the baby. So that was the 7 decks for Heavenly Virtues. I do thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the decks that I chose for the tags. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, turn on that bell so you can be notified every time I post a brand new video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it's greatly appreciated. Thanks so much and have a great day.